everyone, and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. Just a couple of things before we do get started. Celebration is coming to an end. We've only got 1 month left, so I want you to make sure you take get the value out of it while you can. So remember, for every $90 we spend, we get a free celebration gift. Now, something that's coming out on the 1st of March that I think you might be interested in is coordinating sets. So, for example, we have some additional products that are coming out. So we have a new stamp set called More Than Words, and we also have some coordinating framelit dies that go with some of your favorite products out of the current celebration brochure. So here is some examples of those projects utilizing the stamp set as well as the dies. So the dies, here they are once again, and a punch will be available to purchase between the 1st and the 31st of March. So get excited about that. Now, let's get on to our cards for today. So I'm going to switch the camera around and we'll make our project. So once again, if you are online, I'd love to hear from you. So give me a shout out in the comments and tell me where you're from, and as well, that will be great. Okay, so hopefully we're going to be up the right way today. So once again, I emailed out early this morning all the materials that were needed for today's project. So if you wanted to follow along, plus you'll find a link to all of this stuff on our my Facebook page as well. We'll have all the products and everything that you'll need, so you can cut up and follow along as well. So we've got our card base here, which is a crumb cake, which is a standard card base. I have a piece of Flirty Flamingo cardstock that measures 4 3/8 by 2.5 inches. A scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. I also have some of our All My Love Designer Series paper, and I've just picked 2 patterns and I've cut 3 in each, and each one is cut down to 1 1/8 of an inch by 1 1/4 of an inch, and I've got some All My Love ribbon pack here, and this piece measures 6 inches in length. So the stamp set that we're going to be using is one of my favorites. It's meant to be. And so I'm going to use my crumb cake cardstock that I've got here and my Versamarker ink. Now, if you don't have Versamark, you can always use crumb cake. And we're going to be using this image right here. Oh, I've already put it on my block. There we go. Now I want to randomly stamp this onto our card base or around the outside, because we're going to fill in the gaps as well. So these can be upside down, they can be the right way up, it doesn't really matter. It's just to add a little bit of texture to the outside. Now if you don't have a Versamarker ink or crumb cake, you can leave this step out. This is completely optional. So I'm just going to put that aside, and we'll leave that aside as well. So next I have with me here my Floaty Flamingo card base. Once again, this measures 4 3/8 of an inch by 2.5 inches. And I've got my little pieces here that we've cut up. Okay, so I'm going to put this into a pattern. So I'm going to go like so. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that I am leaving equal borders around all 4 sides. So I may find that in the middle I may have this gap, which will be okay because it's going to get covered up with our ribbon. So if something overlaps, it's all good. We just want to make sure we've got equal borders around all 4 sides. Okay, and then we can go ahead and stick those down. Okay, so use your adhesive of choice. Mine today is using my multi-purpose liquid glue. I prefer to use this because I find that it's easy then to move it around before it actually dries. Okay, so I've got all my little elements stuck down now, and to finish that off I am going to stick a ribbon. Now here's a little tip for you. I prefer to use glue dots when adhering my ribbon because I can then stick my ribbon, end of my ribbon, onto my glue dot here, and I'll put one on the other end like so, and I can lay this across here, simply flip it over, and I can stick that down with my glue dot, and it gets it in the right spot every single time. So I love using glue dots when I'm adhering my ribbon. Okay, so we're going to set that aside, and next I'm going to stamp my greeting. So I've got my scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and my greeting today is to the best friend a girl could ever ask for from the Meant to Be stamp set. And I'm going to stamp this into my Tuxedo Black ink. I am going to die cut this out using an oval. Now if you don't have the ovals, you can use a circle, you can use a punch, you can use another die. You could even just cut it out into a rectangle using your stamping trimmer if that's what's going to work best for you. So I have my big shot here. Oops, wrong way. And I'm using my oval framelit dies. Might see if this one works. Yep, perfect size. And I'm going to hold it in place using some washi tape. Put the lid on it and run that through my big shot. Set that aside. So now I have my greeting. So let's assemble our card. So I've got my card base, and I've got my panel that we've already decorated. I'm going to pop these up using some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'll just grab my dimensionals. And I like to just stick my nail in the center of those, and then I find that the ends sit up a bit so that I can grab them without trying to. Sometimes they just don't want to cooperate though. And I can center and stick that. I'll get this. No, it's upside down. Making sure my hearts go the right way on my pattern paper. And then this here, I'm going to sit over the top of my ribbon. And to do that, I'm just going to put a dimensional on each end because it won't stick to the ribbon otherwise. So stick that like that. Now to finish it off, this is optional. I've got these epoxy hearts that you can find in the Occasions catalogue at the moment. And if you use your Stampin' Blends, these alcohol markers, and colour them in, you can change the colour of them. So I'm using big one, yep, I'm going to use a big one, I'm just going to colour it in. Right. They don't take long to dry, and just to test it, just tap it. That's not dry yet. And then you'll know when it's dry. And then once it's dry, yep, all finished. I can then lift it up, and I like to use my picking tool to do that. Well, in this case, it's not going to work for me. And then I can stick that down just to add a little bit of wow to it. So there's our project for today. Once again, thank you for watching. The project tutorial in this video will be up on my blog later this afternoon. So if you want to re-watch it, by all means go ahead, and I'll have the written instructions for you on my blog. So until next time, I'll see you next week for another one of our Facebook Lives. And thanks again. Bye.